Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out XRP's price chart and see what is going on in like very short term. But before we get into all that, at first, I'm going to real quick talk about this article suggesting that XRP recently in the last drop saw about a 32,000 plus liquidation imbalance. And yep, you heard that right, long positions got absolutely wrecked. Now, the reason for why this number is actually so high is because prior to that, we didn't really have massive amount of liquidation, and all of a sudden we got the recent move down, and that caused this number percentage wise to go up big time. Dollar wise, it was I think over $1 million worth of liquidation, while short positions barely flinched, losing I think it was like just $3,000, and that is not just lopsided, it is fully brutal. Now, price wise, XRP dropped about I think like 6%, landing near $2.9 region, and this wasn't happening in isolation. No, yesterday we also saw a decent move down in Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, and a whole lot of other altcoins. So it is safe to say that the whole market was in risk of mode. But here is the real kicker. You see, this kind of imbalances tell you one very important thing. Traders were way too confident. It's very important to understand that. Everybody was stacked on the bullish side, expecting XRP to just move effective immediately starting from the current point with no hedges, no caution, just simple, pure good old hopium. And guess what the market did? Well, the market actually loves punishing that kind of recklessness, and this is like clockwork. The moment that you get over leveraged, you get all of a sudden liquidated. Sometimes even the move that traders expect actually happens, but it happens only after the market wipes out the impatient ones. And that is exactly why, my friends, risk management is not just a buzzword, is a very important aspect of the market if your first priority is to survive. So yes, this was a sentiment reset, and the derivative market right now is a bit lighter, which might or may not actually calm down things a bit. But whether XRP stabilizes in here or maybe whipsaws again depends actually on how traders rebuild their positions. If they jump right back in with the same blind optimism, we might unfortunately see another round of pain. If they don't, and maybe in here we are going to hopefully witness some common sense, okay, we can expect some decent chopping around, or maybe even like a relatively slow and good, solid, healthy move on the upside. Now, let's take a quick look at the short-term structure and see what are we actually having at the moment, because something sort of kind of interesting, I would say, happened in the recent move on the downside. Okay, here we are. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about XRP and we were on this chart, I think we were right around this area. And the idea was that if you really want to be bullish in Ripple, I guess you can say maybe we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside, but you cannot actually argue that this is going to be an impulsive structure due to the fact that we clearly now have overlapping of the waves between this move down and also this one. And since this move is much bigger than this initial phase up, then okay, your options are pretty much narrowed if you want to be optimistic to only having an expanding leading diagonal, and maybe this is going to be like an ABC zigzag into wave 4. And what's next? Maybe we are going to have another move up into wave 5. But since having an expanding leading diag is sort of kind of rare, we said it also in the previous video, it shouldn't really make us confident about having a bullish count in here, suggesting the bottom is in, and this is overall a bit of a bullish setup, and we need to, for that matter, consider some other possibilities. So what happened? Unfortunately, we didn't get another move on the upside, maybe further confirming that this isn't by any means an expanding leading diag. Now, at the moment, I need to tell you that overall, the bullish scenario in XRP is not invalidated yet. However, doesn't really seem like that we are having a bullish case in here either. Now, let's go around here. You see, if you want to be bullish and you want to say we're going to have our final low around here, then okay, you have to be able to find some sort of a 5 wave on the upside. You can have, for example, an impulsive structure, maybe like a leading diagonal in form of a wedge, something like this, maybe even an expanding leading diag, something like this. The point that I'm trying to make is this: you have to be able to find a 5-wave, and in XRP, if we go down just a little bit more, and in this phase, we actually take this importance low, at that point, there is pretty much going to be no shot for us to be able to find a 5-wave in here, meaning we have to consider this move on the upside as just a simple, beautiful ABC zigzag, suggesting two scenarios are going to be in play. Number one, this move down is going to continue, and in it, we are going to take the lowest low down here about, let's say, $2.7. Question is, if this count is going to happen, is it going to be such a bad sign? I honestly do not believe that. In fact, I would like to argue, in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, we actually talked about this region for so long, and we were saying when we were right around these areas that this is basically the only region that stands between us and setting an all-time high. And that's why exactly, if you check out previous videos, we said the moment that XRP gets a break of this level, the next target is going to be an all-time high, and our move up is going to accelerate quite a bit. And as you can see, that pretty much happened. So I'm going to argue, because this level is so significant, as long as we are staying above it, we are actually fine to go up, and we can have, I don't know, maybe just another retest of this level and then get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, a very strong move up without a lot of overlapping of the waves, confirming that this indeed was overall some sort of a correction structure, and there is simply nothing to be worried about in XRP. So even if we get a move down, and in that move we take this low, as long as we are staying above here, I don't really think that we should be like that worried and just panic. No. Now, the second scenario in XRP, in case that we go down and take this low, suggests, you know what, maybe overall we are having a triangle structure, and I think we also talked about this count in the previous video. You see, in an ABCDE, basically for every single wave, you need to have for the subwaves ABCs on the up or downside, ABC up into D, and this is our final ABC on the downside into our E leg. And so far, what do you have? Maybe A, B, C down to about this point, followed by that. If we do take this low, okay, it is going to be confirmed that we are having ABC on the upside, and maybe after this is actually an ABC down, and we may get, instead of a massive move down in order to take this low, just simply some more chopping around in form of an ABC up followed by another ABC down, in order to, on a higher degree, complete the subwaves for a beautiful looking triangular structure. And what's going to happen after it? Once more, we're going to have a move on the upside. So what happened? We said we can consider two different counts in case that we're going to take this low, and both of them do actually end up with the same conclusion, meaning a very strong move up. And that, my friends, is why I am so bullish in XRP. I really have a hard time believing that this is going to be like a massive move down, and it's actually like the beginning of a new bear market. I think that is like highly unlikely, and I'm not going to sit here and say this is absolutely impossible. No, anything is possible in the market. So allow me to tell you this: it is actually, from my POV at least, very much unlikely, to a degree, that is going to make me say, you know what, it shouldn't really be our primary case, for the simple reason that when you have a 7-year consolidation pattern, that leads to absolute explosions. And are you honestly going to tell me that after 7 years of correction and structure, we have only by like a very small margin set an all-time high and took the highest high in here about $3.4, and that's just it, the end of all bull run? By no means, this in my books is going to be an absolute explosion. No, I think the majority of the bull run in XRP is probably still yet remain to be seen, and what we are having in here is probably just a consolidation pattern in order to gather the fuel for the next major phase of the bull run, which in it, I think it's quite likely for XRP to reach to about $10 area. Who knows? Hopefully even we're gonna go quite a bit higher than that. So in the mid to long term, meaning in the next, I'm gonna say probably 6 months to about a year, we really do not have anything to be worried about. Also, in the short term, like we said it earlier, in terms of classic TA, as long as we are staying above here, we are good to go up. It's just the fact that maybe this move is going to continue a little bit, or maybe we are going to have some more chopping around, which both of these scenarios will sort of kind of get confirmed the moment that we get another small move down in order to take this low down here. and I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XRP's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.